Shambho Mahadeva. In this Vedantic practice, many things we have learned in Upanishad. Many things, everything. These are all, you will find they are absolute repetitions, but should be taken in the sense that he has taken some portions of Upanishads for the purpose of this absolute understanding through which one can do the proper Dhyanam. It's very important to remember all this. We spoke on, did I say about Avyaktam and Vyaktam?
Yes.
Right. Here, just looking at the indivisible portion of the consciousness. No matter how much scientists divide atoms, they continue to find smaller and smaller particles. No end to it. In Vedas, if I remember correct, we have learnt in one portion. In one of the Upanishads, it has already been mentioned 27 divisions of an atom with the names have been given, which even today scientists could not find out. Scientists could find out only one step below the atom, the split of an atom. That's all. They call it as, what is it, God consciousness, or what is that? God particle. In the newspaper, if you have read a few years ago, they called it as God particle. That was a division of an atom. Yes. Vedanta, Vedas have divided it already 27 times, and the names have been given there. These are the names of those. Further also it can be divided. There is no end to it. But according to Sthula Avastha, for us to understand in this case, what happens ultimately, it becomes invisible to the most subtlest visibility also. That's the status when it comes. That doesn't mean it's not still existing. It is only the capability of seeing is no more there. This has to be understood. That is how the science derives, or the Vedanta derives, about the Jivatma and the Mana. So he said here that they continue to find smaller, and if the earth and sun were suddenly blown into pieces, the matter would revert to ether. Ultimately, it would return to the supreme mind, compared to which ether itself is gross. Mind is the last reduction of matter to its original source from Brahman, as Brahman. Mind itself is an abstract. Now, how to divide the mind? Come to a status of that indivisible portion of it. That's the matter of the mind. So that's how the mind have been derived. Mana have been derived by the Vedanta. That it can further cannot be divided. So the subtlest portion that is known or available for us in the Vedanta, that which cannot be divided further, is the Mana. As such, it is a source of ether, which evolves into air or gas and then condenses into fire, water and earth. It can evolve no further than that. Gross matter is thus the last stage of cosmic mind's evolution. Mind is the last cosmic mind evolution. On this gross level, mind becomes the physical nature. Out of that, what happened? It has come to the physical nature. That's why there is instability in mind. That which is firm, which can be divided, there will be stability. That which is unstable, it cannot be divided. You see? So stability is lost in that because it's a cosmic evolution, the mind's evolution. It is a, as I said about the subtlest visible form is the mind. The subtlest visible form, in the sense, the subtlest visibility also cannot see the mind, is why I call it as visible form. Visible in the sense that which is not visible. Here it is not visible. In the darkness, anything remains there. Can one see that? It is not possible, no? There may be so many things, but in the darkness, one cannot see it. But it doesn't mean it is not existing. It is existing, but cannot be seen. Cannot be seen by the capability of the seer. For that, there has to be a special vision is necessary to see it through the darkness. Same way, the mind is such that subtlest form, that which cannot be seen. But something is there. We can say in the darkness there is something, but I don't know what it is. So as far as the cosmic evolution is concerned, the mind is in that status of the subtlest form, which is invisible to the seer of anyone. It's why it is unstable. There's no stability to the mind. Why? Because it doesn't have the capacity to contain anything. Mind. It cannot contain anything. Mana cannot contain anything. Mana can be converted into various forms and shapes. Forms in the shape, in the sense, various forms, not shapes. Mind can be transformed into various forms. If you think bad, we call it as bad mind. If you think good, say good mind. We say entertaining mind, classification mind, that mind, beautiful mind, ugly mind. We call that mind, the same mind, into various forms of emotion that you are imposed in. That means mind itself doesn't have a form. Why it doesn't have a form is that which has come, the most instability has come to that. Why? Because why is it unstable? Is it gaseous? It is not gaseous also. Even below that, gaseous can be experienced. The mind cannot be experienced. Mind cannot be seen. Mind cannot be utilized. Even though we call it as use your mind. Mind cannot be utilized. Because that which is stable only can be utilized. That which is unstable cannot be utilized. Then why is the mind there? The mind is there. So why is the mind there? Why is the mind there? Mind is there. That's the subtlest, indivisible form of the cosmic evolution. What is it meant for? Meant for utility of that which can be transformed into various benefits, merits and demerits, both, the mind. That's why it's only the human being and above only have got the mind. Mana is not there in any of the plants, animals and other species. Mana is not there. That which can be transformed, that substance which can be transformed. That's why it is known as the Jivatma is the one which contains that mana. That the last stage of the cosmic evolution, when it has arrived, now what to do with this? So how to contain this? Where it has to be contained? Is it in the sky, in the water, in the Agni, in the Vayu, or in the Prithvi? Where it has to be merged with? Nowhere it can be merged with. The mana cannot be merged with the Agni. Mana cannot be merged with the earth. Mana cannot be merged with that. Nothing is possible. In order to make it function, why it should be made function? Because that is a fact. What's a fact? The mind is a fact. Why it is a fact? It's a fact because it's the lowermost cosmic evolution is that. What is cosmic evolution? It's the last form, that which can be identified by any of the intelligence, whether it is cosmic intelligence, whether it is spiritual intelligence, whether it is physical intelligence, with any intelligence, that the last form of the Brahman that can be identified is Mana. So it has to be there. It cannot be destroyed. Can you destroy Mana? You cannot destroy Mana. Why? Because, as I told you, it is there. It has to be there. So from that, the lowest point of the cosmic evolution, you have to transform that. Through that Mana alone, you can transform it into the original form of the Mana, through which you can reach the Brahman. Because that's the division of the Brahman. That's why it is invisible and it is there, but it cannot be utilized. As I told you, Mana cannot be utilized. Even though we have the general term is that use your mind. That's only a perception. It's only a form of trying to make you understand that use that consciousness, the division of the consciousness for the purpose of the benefit of you, is what we call it as use your mind. It's not actually, you're not using the mind actually. You're trying to, what is that you're trying to do? You're trying to transform that mind into a bit of higher consciousness. It's in the lower consciousness and the higher consciousness. In the lower consciousness itself, there are three parts. What are they? Sattva, Raja and Tama. So the mind can be transformed into Tamo Guna, into Rajo Guna, into Sattva Guna. After reaching the status of the Sattva Guna, then you can transform the Mana into higher consciousness. Through higher consciousness, when you travel beyond, then you reach the absolute consciousness. That's called the Brahman. So what is Brahman? What is Mana? That invisible, indivisible part of the Brahman is the Mana. Is why through mind one can do anything and everything. That's why the power of mind, we said. How can the mind, which is invisible, unstable, doesn't have a form and shape, doesn't have a consciousness by itself, or cannot be used, cannot be converted, cannot be done anything, how can you gain the power in that which is not there? Is it a contradictory statement? Nobody must have thought about it, no? When you say power of mind, and on one side we say mind is an abstract, and you are saying power of mind. For an abstract there has to be a power. How is it possible? Are you not contradicting your own statement of mind being there or mind not being there? Getting it? And why we should understand this? We should understand this because, as we said, that's why the Vedanta said, in everything and everywhere there is Brahman. So now, what is it? But does it mean that one cannot identify, one cannot understand. One cannot understand about the Mana, one cannot see the Mana, one cannot feel the Mana, one cannot experience the Mana, one cannot use your mind. Can you use your mind? The mind is using you. The emotions are transmitted into the Mana and being transformed into the emotions. On this side, you use it for Sattva, it becomes sattva. Use it for use in the sense you impose that guna into it, it becomes that. It's colorless. So whichever color you pour into it, that becomes that color. In water, whichever color you pour, that water becomes that color, because that itself is colorless. Same way, in the manner whatever you pour, that becomes that. Why is it transforming into that? Why the water is transforming into a color that you are pouring in? Most, is it not, logically speaking, when you logically speak, what is that? Most unstable, inefficient, weak medium. That's why it is changing its shape and form. Is it that? No? In Vedantic studies and intelligentsia, it is known as the most weakest one. The weakest one is the one which is transforming by a stronger one. It's a mathematics calculation of that. Mathematics. The heavier one you pour on the lighter one gets crushed. Same way, the one which are more powerful is poured into it, the other takes the form. So you put any emotion or sattva, raja, tamo, guna into the mind becomes that. Is it because the mind is weak? Mind is incapable of resisting it? Or the mind is it incapable of resisting it? Or is it that it doesn't have the strength to be by its own? Any of this. That means all sorts of weaknesses now. That which is useless. Okay. Changes in its own. Logically, it sounds that way. Vedantically, it says, it's the most purified form is why whatever you pour into the purity, it appears to be that, but it is not that. The most purified means which is one? Most strong. The strongest one. Now I'll put another logic to that. Strongest one is the mind is why whatever emotion you put, the mind becomes that. Has the mind changed? No. If it has changed by that guna that I have imposed on that, it should be permanently that. If it is weaker one, it has to be permanently that. But next moment, you withdraw that, mind becomes again ready to accept another one. Am I right? Are you getting it? Mm-hmm. Is it powerful or is it weak? The most powerful, which can also contain, which can also reject. Who is powerful? The one who is being contained or the one who is containing? Who is powerful? The one who can contain is more powerful. Now I'll tell you the logically what is explanation to that. The most strongest person can absorb anything that he comes to listen, see, understand. He won't react to that. He becomes fine. Tapasvis and Maharishis, any amount of abuses you shower on him, he is in the tapo status where the Brahman is present in him. No changes in his emotions. Because your showering of emotions does not attract that mind which has already transformed into the status of its originality or its reality of the higher consciousness which is known as Brahman. That which is the lowest part of the Brahman, which is, even though it is the lowest part of the Brahman, all the qualities of the Brahman is there in the Mana. The Brahman is that one which is unchangeable. We do not know whether it is changing its color and dissolving it or not. But that doesn't make any difference to that. Similarly, am I right? The most strongest, who is the strongest? Chama Purusha Lakshanam. Kshama, Purusha Lakshana. Absolute Kshama. Anything you shower, fine, no problem. Biggest jnani, who we call shameless man, thick skin, rhinoceros and all that. That's what some of them say there. That's who are in the illogical. But a rishi, you can compare this to rishi, rhinoceros. No effect. You keep on shouting, doesn't make any difference to me. Your ignorance doesn't make any difference to me. Your colors and emotions doesn't make any difference to me. Because I am not attracted to or attached to any of these variations and the instruments that you are projecting to me. I am already one who has already transformed into its original status. It's only those temporary status, the ones which are in the temporary status, only gets attracted to any of these lower consciousness qualities. Is why the mana is a part of Brahman. The one who is stronger, he doesn't change his opinion and ideas according to anybody's emotions and statements and criticism and insults, praises, any of them. He is unchanged by any of this. No? Nityam. Ananya bhavena, is it? Ananya bhava. How can Ananya bhava come? Because it has permanently attained the status of non-absorbable state of any of the lower consciousness. But the higher consciousness will be absorbed by it. But the lower consciousness impacts will not get affected by that. It's like a big tree, big storm, any amount of storm, unless it is very, very high, it cannot be uprooted. It may sway and swing, but again, come back to that. It doesn't get affected by that. But the smaller and weaker ones all will fall down in the big storm. But there are ones which cannot be fallen. You see, those are the ones which have understood, gone beyond the status of evolution. From the evolution part of it, why did I say all this? Because I said that mind is the last reduction of matter to its original source, Brahman. Is why I said all this. So Brahman is that. I am not, do you feel Brahman? Aham Brahmasmi is a statement which is already there. But I am not feeling that I am Brahman. That's right. Why are you not feeling? If the mind is the substratum or the most sukshma bhava of the Brahman, why the Jivatma is not feeling there is Brahman in it? Why is it not feeling? Because it is already superimposed by Sattva, Raja, Tamo gunas. So whichever guna you are superimposed on that, you will see only, experience only them as mana. That's why we say bad mind, good mind, right mind, wrong mind, clean mind, unclean mind. We have a lot of that prepositions to the mind. None of the prepositions are, yes, all are okay, this is okay. But none of the prepositions are effective to the mind, is why there are so many prepositions. If the mind is changeable, it should have changed for those which are very prominent in that, and mind has changed. But even the strongest feeling in the mind can be changed, is it not? Strongest enmity can be changed. Strongest love can be changed. Strongest understanding has been changed. Today, scientists have told Big Bang Theory had been talking about since so many years. Last year or 2 years back, it has been proved that it is wrong. It has to be accepted. Fine, it has been accepted. Once it has been told it is right, has been proved as wrong, has been made as wrong. That's all. No change in the mind. The mind accepted that also. Mind is accepting contradictory of that. This also. That means the mind has not been affected. If mind has been affected by that, it would have a firm conviction of mind, and mind would have been transformed to that state. So mind can be transformed only. Mind cannot be changed. Even though we have a term called change of mind, change your mind. Actually, you are not changing the mind because there is no other word to say. So we say it is change your mind. Actually, what are you saying is that change your superimposition in your mind. Is that what you are telling? In detail, when you really understand what it is, the short form of that, change your mind. It is exactly like this. Like what? Like, I don't know, so many things come to my mind. When you wear a beautiful, modern or acceptable clothes by others, the majority of the people accept a particular color, particular fashion of a dress, and I wear it. What do you say? You are looking wonderful. Who is looking wonderful? Actually, you like the external form which is superimposed on that. So you say, you are looking wonderful. But after removing this, I am that. When I put another cloth, I am that only. Oh no, you are not looking that good. Oh, you are looking very bad. Who are the three? All are me only. Who has changed? This has changed. Same way, if you put Sattva, Rajya, Tamo on that, you are identified by that. So, who is inside? It's the same me. Who is changeable? Who is accommodate you to beautiful clothes? Who is accommodate you to bad clothes? Who is accommodate you to go to worst clothes? How you identify me? You should be in a position to identify me without all these paraphernalias. The one who has identified that, Sharir, the inner me, the self, that's a Brahman, the transformation, that's why I have told all these things. The formation, what you talk about is that, the formation is that external, that what you can talk. That's why we say, transform the mind. Transform. Transform is not changing the form and shape. Well, it appears to be changing the form and shape, no doubt about it. The meaning is changing this form into some other form. Is that what it really means? That's the word meaning. That's why this transformation is used in English, of course. Samskrita says that totally different. That's why many things cannot be explained in that language. English is transformation of mind. But in Samskrita it said that Uddharanam of the Manam. Uddhara. Mano Uddhara. Uddhara means what? Raising up, going up in the same ladder. There's a ladder, there are 32 steps on that. The bottom rung of the ladder is a part of ladder. The topmost part of the ring also is a part of ladder. Uddharanam, Uddhara. Uttishtato Jagrata. Uttishta. Rise. Uttishta. Uttishtato Jagrata. That's it. That awaken. Jagrata means awakenness. Uttishta, rise the awakeness. That means rise the awakeness, which the bottom also is awakeness, the top is also awakeness. Top in a lower consciousness, the top is the highest consciousness. Uttishto Jagrata. Is it transformation? Is it changing shape and form? Even though it appears to be changing the shape and form, it is the same but in a different plane. That plane where nothing else can superimpose that and appear to be something else, but in the lower consciousness, in the mana, everything can superimpose on that. Anything and everything can superimpose and it will appear like that. This is why mana is not weak. Mana is not weak. Mana is not that which you think. Mana is that which is unchangeable, the true nature of that. But the superimposition of sattva, raja, tama, in that, it appears to be that, and you behave according to those superimpositions, is why they say that renounce. The word renunciation is. When those emotions in you and desires and attachments in you are renounced, there is nothing left to superimpose on the mana, so mana is not visible. Mindlessness, they said. Shunyata, they said. Mindlessness, naturally. If there is nothing to superimpose on mana, mana cannot be seen, cannot be felt, cannot be experienced, there is no action by the mind. In fact, there is no action by the mind at any point of time. It is only the superimposed factor only acts. Is why it is known as action. Karta, krama, kartavya, karma, prakriti, and this, that, and all comes on the superimposition of that. So don't think mana is the purity form. Is why this classification that the lowest form of the Brahman is mana. Is why that is there in every jiva. Jivatma is why the mana. You are getting a clear picture of mana. All other classifications that you are describing about mana, the Kavi describes about the mana, about the dukkha, about the premam, about the kashtam, dukkham, jnanam, this, that, about the mana, they are all superimposed imaginary version of the mana. None of them are mana. It is just like that moon is there and the clouds come and cover it. When the clouds goes off, again the moon is there. Moon is not affected by the cloud which has travelled above that or in front of that or through that, whatever it is. So the mana is that. That's why we are able to change our mind so fast. Did you change your mind so fast? How could you change your mind so fast? The words what normally used, no? Hey, change your mind. Have you changed your mind? Oh, you were supposed to go somewhere else. I changed my mind. So simple. If that is so simple, why don't you change it to identify the Brahman in that? It is that simple. You are changing your mind every moment, every second. Every fraction of a second you are changing the moment. But when I tell you the real nature of the mana and believe that, no, that you are not ready to change your mind. Is it not? Because why? Why? Because you are already superimposed that mind and there are colors in that. Now you have to take it out. You can't do it. You don't want to do it. Accusing you on this. You can do it. Why am I not able? Many people are asking, why am I not able to do it? Because you don't want to do it. If you can change your mind of going here or there within a fraction of a second, can you not change this? What are you talking? You only had been experiencing every fraction of a second of changing of mind, and I am telling you, go to the mind your mind, leave aside all those things, that you are not ready. You means Jivatma. Okay? Jivatma is not ready. And should I believe you cannot find out the Brahman inside you? Why? Because you don't want to do it. Why you don't want to do it? There are thousands of reasons because of that. Okay? We said about the insecurity, this, that, practice, and all that. You are used to it and you are used to certain comforts of seeing through illusion only. I will experience only through emotions. Some people are there. Tell anything and everything, they will cry. Tell everything and everything, they will laugh. Tell anything and everything, they will get angry. अच्छा बोलने से भी गुस्सा होगा नहीं तो and some others are there. And like that, there are various things. Why are they? They are all like that. They don't want to change. They have superimposed their mind with those emotional tamo, rajo, and sattva gunas. Whatever guna it is. I will not change my mind. Another group of people. Worst part of it. Changing mind is better. I won't change my mind. Worst. Why? Permanent superimposition. Put a screw on that if possible. But unfortunately, the screw will not get fixed because there is no base. There should be a wall, then only you can screw on that. There is no base. Khali. That is the mind's cosmic mind's evolution. You understand what is the mind actually? Think about it. Don't believe what I am saying or what he is saying. This is what Swamiji said about this one sentence. So I said, derived out of it to make you understand what he says. Otherwise, how can it be there? That which is not Brahman is not there in any of the Jivatmas. All others are instruments and external forms and shapes which is destructible. But the mind is there till the Sharira is there. And the moment the Sharira goes, the mind also goes. Why? Where is it going? It goes to the upper consciousness, higher consciousness. In the Jivatma, the particle of the, like the Prakriti is formation from the Purusha, each and every Jivatma is a particle of that. So is this lowest particle also has got the Purusha. Simple. You all can understand. Ocean may be few million, billion liters of water. Take one drop of water, you know what is the analysis of ocean. The same qualities are there in that droplet of water. No, is it not? Is that ocean different from this droplet? Is the droplet different from the ocean? Same. Vast sthula bhavam, this is the sukshma bhavam. That's all the difference, nothing other than that. Mind is that. Now you know what is the treasure that you are having in you, which you cannot earn by any method. That's the treasure you have. Aham Brahmasmi. It's why the word Aham Brahmasmi has been created. It's a reality, it's the truth. There's nothing other than truth. This is the truth. I know we will not believe it. I know. From tomorrow, Upma and Sambar will take over. That's all. Brahman is superimposed by Rasavada. Even though jokingly said, you see how beautiful is that truth to understand. Revelation of the Jnana. The revelation of the truth, revelation of your existence, revelation of the truth. Is anything matters to that Brahman? You try your best, nothing can happen. Mind when it is dying, when you are dying, the mind is as pure as it was and it goes up. All your emotions superimposed on that, or your attachment, attractions, negativity and hatred, insults, ninda, everything that is superimposed on that, all gave it to your Sharira back, you suffer. I am going. He goes. That's all. You take another Sharira and you undergo all that what is left. It is the, you know what you call that filter, no? Sieve. Any amount of tea leaves you put on the tea and boil and whatever make it, putting on the sieve and take it out, Not even one small leaf comes out of it because sieve is made so fine. Only that liquid will come out, all that is accumulated there. What is this to be used? Now you can use it if you want, you eat it. You put it under the plant, you make another tea out of it. It's okay. That's your version. I am going. I am passable through the filter, passable through the sieve. There is no sieve that has been created to stop the water to be sieved. Is it? You see? Physically? No. There's no sieve created by human. Can a human being create a sieve to hold sieve, not the container? To hold smallest sieve you make, perforation, absolutely fine. For water. Mana. Anything that is superimposed will be like that. Please understand why I am giving you so much of opportunity to think is because I want you to make sure through meditation. That's why I am saying that if this Dhyanam is there, meditation is absolute wonderful. Dhyanam will be all that. You will not get wayward. You will not get misconceptions. Oh, this, that. In its most dense manifestation as gross matter, mind exhibits the least amount of consciousness. No exhibition of consciousness. This is exactly what I said. Mind by itself is not exhibiting any consciousness. That which has been superimposed on the mind is the one which is expressing the consciousness. The moment the consciousness is removed from the mind, either you call it as subconscious or it counts the absolute conscious. Only those which are, what is a conscious state? That is why in the conscious state what you are seeing you are believing. That's why it is. Because they are all superimposed on the mind. It depends upon your practices, it depends upon your attachment towards it. It's not based on education, it's not based on intelligence. Do you believe based on intelligence? No. Do you get attached because of your analysis? Oh, शादी में आजकल बोलते हैं 5 feet 6.3 inches. Tall should be the person. Complexion, oh, urud dal. उड़द दाल, wheat, rice, क्या क्या कलर है ना, wheatish क्या बोलते हैं, pale, classification से
pale,
ये सब होना चाहिए. Both ears should be equal in length, which nobody has got in life in this world. No two things are same. One eye is small, one eye is big. Both should be correct for me. All these, why did I say this? Specifications. You are superimposing such things, why did I say this? Consciousness, yeah. It's because that is called the consciousness. The conscious mind recognizes the requirements like this. That's all. No? Nobody wanted to know how his spiritual mind is, how his Dhyanam is, not the intelligence. That's why we call it as culture. How is the culture? It has to be inculcated from the childhood. People who have been brought up in certain environments and certain circumstances and certain habitual practices that has been undergoing, it's very difficult to change them. Even though they change quite a lot, but ignorant this. That needs a lot of concentration and jijnasa, and also dridhata in mana, to be one who is, from the tamo, you can transform yourself into rajas, into rajas, and then to sattva. You can come, no doubt. It needs that dridha nishchaya has to be there. Dridhata has to be there. Nityam has to be there. That firmness. Anishchitatvam has to be taken out from you. Nishchayartham should be inducted inside. That needs lot of jnanam, lot of dedication. Not jnanam actually. Lot of dedication, and of course jnanam is definitely necessary. What to do? And lot of dedication and devotion is there. That's why otherwise they cannot change. They will be still stuck by those parameters which is known as ignorance of the attachment, attraction, and that those characteristics, habits. They are people who have been brought up in a different sattva, they will be in that sattva. In rajas, but we have to change it. Every individual, as I told you, mana is not that which cannot be changed. You are changing it. You have tried it already thousands of years, hundreds of years. You have been doing it. Every fraction of a second it has been done. How many lakhs and crores of time you have changed your mind? Is it not? Leave those superimpositions. That's why why it said that the mind exhibit the least amount as consciousness is that. It is not consciousness, it is your emotion that you are expressing, it is your desire that you are expressing, it is your attachment that you are being expressed, and you think it is a consciousness that is being. No, my mind says that it has to be done. Mind has never told anything, because there is nothing for mind to say, because it has got pure consciousness. It says only one thing: Aham Brahmasmi. All other things are told by whom? So it is too far away from its source to express itself. It's too far away from itself to express itself, is what the word sentence is that. Far away means from the reality, from the truth, that the original Brahman. When you transform, you connect yourself, you will immediately find the truth of it. Because as I told you, the droplet of water from the ocean is equivalent to ocean. The moment that droplet is put into the ocean, it becomes one with the ocean. Mana, put it into the Brahman, becomes one with the Brahman. Put mana into any other things, they don't become mana, but the mana become that. If you want to make the mind as the true mind, you have to put this into the Brahman, then it becomes the true mana. Is why we call it as self-realization, we call it as realization, Brahma realization, Brahma Jnanam. Is that the mind, putting the mind into the Brahman, and it becomes that indefinite, invisible, infinite, unchangeable, achara, achara. It is so. It's beautiful. It is too far away from its source to express itself. You have come far away in the sense not by distance in meters or centimeters or meters or feet or yards or miles or kilometers. One fraction of a thought. That's all. You're far away only that. You're far away, a fraction of a second. Change your thought. That's all. You're there. There's no distance again. So don't think that it is unapproachable. Ishvara is unapproachable, beyond the sky. Take for instance, a rock contains a potential of infinite energy and power, but unless put into intelligence use, it remains inanimate. The further matter moves into source towards gross evolution, and more limited to its effect. Even though the rock is also one substratum of that, but unless that is used, it will be remaining as a matter. But it has to be used with intelligence. The rock becomes useful. It can be a tool. It can be anything for that matter. It can be a building material. It can give you shelter. It can give you strength. It can give you you can make a tool out of a stone. There are so many things that can be made out of that, using by intelligence. Same way, mana can be changed into any of this. Mind also is almost like that. That supreme, pure Brahman, which is a witness. That which is superimposed. That's why we call it as transformation. Transform the mind. The mind is the agent of everything in a Jivatma. Without a mind, one cannot function. Mindlessness or beyond mind is that what is called as that to be removing the superimposition is called beyond mind or mindlessness without mind. Without mind in the sense not fixing up any superimposition on the mind, only the truth, only the reality. This truth has to be identified and understood. So the mind is firmly anchored into that is called Uttishtata Jagrada, the consciousness at the elevated state. It's Uttishtata Jagrada. When it is at the elevated state, you are in the absolute consciousness, which is the sthula power of the mana, which is an absolute, inherent power of the mana. This is called mana. So close look at these elements which we take for granted leaves one in an all-guiding cosmic intelligence. That's right. It's nothing. See, he said water is 2 parts of hydrogen and 1 part of oxygen, we said. Contradictory characteristics they have got. Hydrogen, when it is come in contact, it will explode. Oxygen comes in fire, will make the fire burn. One explodes destructive capacity, another burns it. But when they are put together, it is water. Which is that power? That intelligence power? 2 contradictory things to merge together and make a constructive dhatu or constructive one of the tattvas or one of the bhuta, merging the one destructive, one promoting agent together. 2 opposites. Merging 2 opposites together, you have created one bhuta. Similarly, we have to. So what is that? This is called creation. Now, who can make this? Nobody. What is that intelligence that makes this? What is that intelligence that makes it? This is called God consciousness or the Supreme or the Brahman or Dhyanam intelligence. If that can be made, the same thing can be created in our characteristics, in our mind, in our sharira, in our everything, just by doing this. That's called intelligentsia. Intelligence is not, even though we use intelligence, bodham, it's buddhi. Intelligence is used as the one which is as a practice, or that after you get a training, you become more than you have an intelligence to do it. No, initiative to do it. That initiative is known as intelligence. That initiative comes out of your experience also, that intelligence. But here, in this case, what happens? When you are conscious, that intelligence automatically comes. It's called intelligence. Intelligence is not trained. It is not practiced. Intelligence is trained. Intelligence, is it practiced? No. It's not that. Where is this intelligence came to you? How is your mind? Some are very intelligent, we call it. He is intelligent in particular field. Another is intelligent in another field. Another is intelligent in some other field. Another is intelligent not to get involved in any of these fields. But he's there in all the fields. He is a tapasvi, he is a jnani, he is a brahmajnani. Not identifying himself as a particular. But the intelligence is what? Is an activity created by the Brahman consciousness. Activity of Brahman consciousness. This is also based on some of the previous experiences of your birth. How your karma phala has been, based on that your intelligence also functions. Yes, it's another chapter. We'll talk about it sometime. Here he says, relationships like this exist throughout the cosmos. Consider the size of the universe. It is impossible that these miracles occur only on Earth. How many suns with planets can there be in our galaxy? How many galaxies can there be? How large is this universe? Its size cannot be imagined, nor can the number of planets capable of supporting life be counted. So all this, there are so many explanations on that. So you know that I am talking about the law of karma, incarnation from the, what I did speak to you now, what I gave you. I gave you the absolute truth of the projection by the Purusha, incarnation of the Purusha into the Prakriti, from Prakriti to Jivatma, Jivatma to the Mana and the intelligence, the Bodham in that. With that Bodham, utility of Bodham, you can, using the Bodham, you can superimpose those whatever you want on the Mana, and the Mana will function according to that. So if you become Bodhavan, like Buddha, if you become conscious about the truth in the universe, you can superimpose of that so that you can transform the mind into the Brahman and you become the Brahman. Is that what I spoke in this way? Okay. Next, Bhagavan's Maharishi says about the Panchikarna, doctrine of quadruplication. This we have described in Chandogya Upanishad already. This Panchikarna. Panchikarna is nothing but allied to Laya Chintana. Principle of Laya. We have already spoken of this. I also told that. It's Panchabhutas. The body is created by the Panchabhutas. Each Bhuta is 50% of the total of, suppose 5 Bhutas is equal to 100%. If I take one Bhuta, water, if I take water is 50% of the total Bhutas, and the other 4 parts are 1/8 of each Bhuta will be there, will have a layam into Jalam, becomes Jala. It's a combination of that. So in each Bhuta, if I say Vayu has got the 50% of the totality and 1/8 of the other Bhutas. If you divide it, in circle, draw a circle and then divide it. Is that 50%? Then you divide the 50% into 4 times. You divide into 4 times because the other 4 Bhutas. So when you divide them into 4 times, then add that along with it becomes the Vayu. Bhuta as Vayu. Then Jalam is like that. Prithvi is like that. Akash is like that. And Agni is like that. So in Agni, and that's why I said, in Agni there is Jalam. In Jalam there is Agni. But in Agni is the highest the proportion, and the others are equally divided into 4. So, this is how the elements are divided. Same way, when the elements are divided, And just for your information, I have told this in Ishavasya Upanishad, first when we have taken this. These descriptions exactly has been told there. Anyway, just for information, even though I have told, okay. Gross elements, what are the gross elements? Ether, air, fire, water, earth. Here he says ether is transforming into the emotions. What is ether? What are the effects of ether in a human body? How are the effects of that? Ether transforms into 1/8 of ether is grief. 1/8 is grief is ether in that. Yes. Then 1/8 of air, that is 1/8 of the air means desire. 1/8 of desire, 1/8 of anger, 1/8 of delusion, 1/8 of the fear. These are the combinations. This put together is called grief. Grief is consisting of grief, a major part, desire, anger, delusion, fear. Put together is called, but these are all 1/8 of them. Grief, this is called the ether new. So in every emotion, the other emotions are there. Anger has not just come by solo anger alone. No. Why did you get angry? It's because you are depressed, disappointed. Why are you disappointed? Because you could not achieve what you have desired. Why did you have the desire? Feeling of that not having it is why the desire has been created. Or because of jealousy, it has been created. Why this has been created? Because of the ajnana of that I do not have it. So all these combinations is the cause why you got angry. You got angry in yourself. I am not capable of doing it. I cannot understand it. I cannot handle it. I cannot sustain it. I cannot be myself if I don't have it. These are the causes of anger. So he has divided them. So each emotion is intradependent and interdependent on the other emotions. That's why any emotion, so what happens is that they become one becomes the major emotion, and that major emotion is the cause of inconsistent, unproportionate, unwanted emotional dilution into the being. What is the reason why? That particular emotion is because all are rubbish. That's what I mean by this sentence. None of them are valid. All are because of the ignorance. Fine, no problem, but it is there. Same way, air. Air is running, bending, walking, expansion, contraction. This also happens. Expansion of lungs, expansion of heart, expansion of bending of not only the physical body but others also. Fire, hunger, thirst, laziness, sleep, luster. You see, hunger is also, fire is also hunger, thirst, also laziness, also sleep, also luster. Water is that blood, saliva and all that, sweat, etc. Earth, bone, flesh, skin, arteries and air. These are supposed to be earth because they are solids. All the solids are earth. Your body, muscle, strength and all, the both Prithvi Tattva. This is how it is calculated. Okay. So these 5 elements are divided into the Sharira based on the requirement of its sturdiness and also in order to sustain the emotions that are created by them. Each and every human body has to be with these 5 elements. And these 5 elements are consisting of these compositions are there. Anger, thirst, greed, all this X, Y, Z. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. That comes, everything comes into that. It is consisting of all these things. But each one has to be kept in its own position. If I keep in the Agni Tattva, 50% I maintain as the Agni Tattva and the 1/8 of each other Tattvas are combination with that, my Agni Tattva will be in absolute perfection. There will not be any disturbance in me. For that, I will have to create this. These proportions have to be identified. Now, how to physically do it? No, it's not possible. It's not humanly possible. No intelligentsia can make it. No studies can make it. No practice can make it. Thousands of years you practice also, you can't do that. Then what is the way? That is why they say the only way is that not to give neti principle, not to give prominence to particular emotion. You cannot control it by calculation. It's not possible. Then best way is what? Best way is not to give importance to emotions. So the proportions are maintained because it is created like that, so you are not changing the proportion. You are changing the proportion by giving prominence to particular emotions and making it, superimposing it in the manner is why the characteristics have been changed. So the principle of the Pancha Tattva, the Panchika, that's why he has in Vedanta as well as in meditation, this is a very important chapter which is called the Panchikaranam. This Panchikaranam, the 5 elements in your body, that's where this the Maharishis and Jnanis and great gurus, many people, you must have heard this word normally used in the Puranas and television shows. You must have seen that a jnani who has come to that, he can control the Panchabhutas. You must have seen in the television and movies and all that, when Bhagavan Shiv, he wanted certain things, so what happened? He created a storm. He created a flood. Indra created a flood. Bhagavan Krishna had to hold the mountain up and then rain. Okay, that's flood. Okay, Indra creates a flood. We hear such terms. How is it possible by a human? It is possible. It is possible. By changing the principle of the Panchikarana, the Panchikarana, Tattva, changing the proportions, one creates this. It is possible. This is what we are doing in our body, in our mana. Sometimes we get flooded, sometimes we set fire to ourselves, sometimes we create storm inside us, not in the teacup, but inside us. Various places we create storm, no? They are all what? You're changing the proportions of the Panchikaranam, Panchatattva, and the created changes in you and gets totally disarranged. That's why Maharishis, Tattvajnani, Brahmajnanis, Maharishis, great gurus, they are able to control the Panchatattvas. Even in the atmosphere, the Panchatattvas can be controlled by them. Why? Even in the atmosphere. They are not human, closed in a physical body and can only control the body. When they are not that closed body, when they are not that, when they are above that, when they are in the realization of the highest consciousness, they are the Sthula Avastha of the Brahman. When he is the Sthula Avastha of Brahman, those Panchatattvas that are there can be controlled by him. It is possible. It is not an individual who is doing it, it is an entity that is doing it, that Brahman which is doing it. He becomes that. So through that process he can control the Panchatattvas. He can stop a storm. He can create a storm. And stop a rain, and he can create a rain. So things like that. Pralayam and things like that. So these are all called the control of the Panchatattwas. A person who is a tapasvi, who is a jnani, can control. He has influence on the Panchatattwas. He can see, he can identify. We have heard about Hanuman. We have heard about Bhima. Bhima and Hanuman's story, when you go, he creates enormous, he wanted to, Saugandhika Pushpam, he wanted to bring, Draupadi wanted, and Bhima goes to get that Pushpa. And then Hanuman, even now I think you must be knowing, there is a place called Hanuman Chatti, when you cross from, when you go to, what is that place, Badrinath and all that, when you go, there is a place called Hanuman Chatti. That there are all chattis only, Hanuman Chatti, this chatti, that chatti and all that. Hanuman Chatti is the place where Hanuman was lying as an old man, blocking the way of Bhima to pass through. Hanuman is a Vayu, Vayuputra. Bhima is also Vayuputra. But Hanuman senior, elder brother. So, he was lying with his tail, lying as an old man. Now, you all know the story. I don't want to repeat it. I'll finish faster. So Hanuman comes and then he says that to what is that? Markada, what is that? Murtha Markada. He just pranam and all. These people are there. Whoever it is, whichever this one, you don't know who is who. So they will come and do pranam first. Please allow me to go. I am in an emergency. Please do that. So he said, you are a young man. I am too old to get up and then move. You can see my body, sharira, and you can look at my tail. Now you imagine I getting up with this all weight, standing up, standing aside. It's too much of a problem for me. What you do is that you are a great man, big. A great Bhima's ahankara is being put down. Is the katha goes there in Mahabharata. You just shift that my tail end, उसको थोड़ा सा ऐसा हटा के तुम उधर से पार हो जाना, because you are not supposed to cross somebody. It's papa, So I said, then move it like that and go. I have no problem. I have no objection. I will not curse you. Okay. So that's not no problem. But you know that, Bhima could not do it. Tried his best. Then he knew he is not that ordinary Markada. So he comes and prays and prostrate in front of him. Bhagavan, please identify yourself. Let me go. So he said that, put your ahankara down, that I am the strongest person. Is why I did. What did he do? What is the purpose of my telling you the story? How did he make his body so heavy? It's not a magic. It can be done by them. So many people have done it. In those days. Today we can make heavy only in one way. In Kali Yuga. Think, thoughts. So much of what is that? Revenge, anger, enmity, ninda. With all this, this becomes stronger. Nothing else becomes stronger. Those great people have made that's why did I say all this? Because control over Panchabhuta is the word I have used. This could be done by Hanuman is what principally that is being done. Let us, the strongest person in the universe at that time was Bhima. Even he could not lift his small tail. This is what has happened. The same thing, another story is there, you must have heard, where Devendra in disguise went and told when he walked on the grass or something, there was a lady who was in disguise. who was taking care of it and said that, oh, you're not supposed to be walking on this. Something like the argument came. So do you know who am I? I can do this, I can do that. So what they said was only one thing. Don't do all those things. You take one grass from here and put it on the other grass. So that he could not lift the grass. That's the ultimate. And remove the ahankara of the great people. Now why, that's the second part of it. The first, why did I say all this one? Changing the principle, the Panchikaranam, by control of identification of the truth in you, the strength will automatically change, because today you are not identifying the Brahman in you, so you are not at all conscious of it. You are not at all conscious of the highest strength that you have. The moment you start identifying it, the same body, the same mind, the same appearance can create miracles. Same thing happens. Is what Panchikaranam takes place. Is why Panchikaranam is a very important chapter in Vedanta, as well as in Tapasya, as well as in any marga, Bhakti Yoga, Vastu Shastra, and this is lot of principles. Vastu Shastra is made on Panchikaranam only, based on Panchikaranam. And many of the principles of the Vedic Vedantic and Vedantas are created, are consisting of this Panchikaranam principle. So very important principle, because in Jivatmas, or as well as the universe, the Panchabhutas are very important. So it has to be important, not beyond. When the Sharira is not there, when the world is not there, it's okay. But as far as the world is there, Jivatma is there, Sharira is there, and everything is there, Panchikaranam is necessary. So the creation is based on that. Mahavakyas, next chapter on this comes to Mahavakyas, or great proclamations. We know what are the Mahavakyas. I have told you long back about it in the many Upanishad. As described about this is that Prajnanam Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, I am Atma Brahma. 4 of them are there. These are the Mahavakyas. On this, Tapasya is very important. On this also. These Mahavakyas have got great importance. Of these 4 declarations, Tattvam Asi is the most important. Tattvam Asi. Tat is unqualified Brahman. Tvam is individual, same. Asi is represents union. Tattvamasi, unqualified Brahman. What is unqualified Brahman? Not superimposed on that. Brahman absolutely has its own form. Is why unqualified. A qualification is a superimposition. I have studied this. Who has studied it? I have studied it. A superimposition of me on me. Unqualified Brahman means the pure Brahman, absolute purity. Tvam is the Jiva, individual same. Asi is represents the union of this Tvam into Tat. The Tvam into Tat had been talking the whole evening. I had been talking only of that. Tattvamasi. Union of the Mana into Brahman. Of these, for Tattvamasi is the most important thing. Now you listen this. The Guru initiates the disciple into the knowledge of Brahman through this declaration. For it is the one that gives rise to the other 3. Which are the other 3? Prajnanam Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Atma Brahman. This is the one which gives the Rise to the other three. The disciple reflects. The disciple reflects and meditates on it and eventually experiences samadhi or super conscious state. He is then able to give expression to the other statements. Meditate on that, and then he goes into the reflection of the highest consciousness. I told you about samadhi long back. I explained about samadhi, I think, quite in detail. Sama adhinata is called samadhi. Okay, equal to that. So this is the principle of that. The words Tattvamasi must be dissected carefully, for they are pregnant with meaning. They can be repeated to different people and interpreted in different ways depending upon the person's evolution. They are changed by Guru, changes this to different people, different ways in order to make it effective. But principally these are the meanings. When the right understanding is reached, the aspirant is better able to disown. What is the purpose of that? He should be in a position to disown all actions, reactions and attributes. He can lead a worry-free life. Worries are only illusion, imaginations created by one. To begin with, one must have basic understanding of the relationships of the Absolute, the world and the individual Brahman. The unmanifest Absolute projects itself as Prakriti. We have told that Purusha projects as Prakriti, the world as we know it. The Prakriti is made up of three qualities of nature: purity, activity, inertia. Sattva, Raja, Tamo. Sattva, Raja, Tamo, purity, activity and inertia. These are the things. And it manifests into two aspects as Maya, the phenomenal world, and Avidya, the identification of the individual self. Purity is Sattva and activity is Rajas and inertia is this one. And it manifests into two aspects. One is Maya, another is Avidya. It is this Maya and Avidya which prevails in the universe, which obstructs your realization of the self and the Brahman. Maya and Avidya. Okay. So there is a lot of explanation on the Maya and Avidya. I won't read the whole thing. I don't know whether. I don't know. Let's see. Brahman reflects through Sattva, purity only. That's why the normal human being has to first put all his efforts and practices to become a Sattoguni, whoever you are. That's the first thing. There are people who are Tamoguna is prominent in them, Rajoguna prominent in them, or Sattoguna is prominent. The people who are others, he has to first reach the level of Sattva. This I have already told earlier also, I think, about moksha, mukti, karma mukti and all that. So once he has to do that, through Sattva, purity as Maya, it is called as Ishvara. That's how the word Ishvara has come. Isha. Ishvara has control over the full world. That's this Tattva, Sattva. The pure Brahman reflecting through Sattva is Ishvara. Understood? And that has got the control over that whole world. That is, whole world is what? Prakriti. Ishvara is the name meaning God with all qualities, God with attributes. Ishvara has full control over the world and can appear into different forms and shapes. This produce the impure state of ignorance, which Rajas and Tamas. Rajas and Tamas produce the impure state of ignorance and avidya. Rajoguna and Tamoguna. In Rajoguna there is lot of desire, wanting to enjoy the result of the karma is there in Rajas. In Tamoguna is the inertia. That also, these are the ones which is creating avidya. And through this avidya is only the one which obstructs to find out the truth. Is what he said. Then he has given an example of spider's web. He says, Maharishi says here, like a spider web knits his own web and travels anywhere it likes. But the fly or an insect which is falling on that is trapped in it. It cannot move, but the spider can move. But spider also moves in its own web, not outside the web, in its own web. So it can be created by this spider. Same way, that Ishvara, who is the Brahman projected through the through Sattva, is Ishvara, and that Ishvara, who is the controller of the world, can move anywhere in the world freely like a spider moves, but each and every Jivatma is one fly stuck to the spider's web, which cannot move. It has to be at the mercy of that spider. In order to move in the web, the fly has to become a spider. He has to acquire those qualities. Then only it is possible. Same way, he says, the Jivatma and Bhagavan, he says, like spider, Ishvara can move and he can be incarnated on any plane, can withdraw the incarnation and also can withdraw also. So subject to, so he says he's not really subject to human emotions. However, just as the spider must follow in its own threads, God cannot interfere with the karmic laws of his own creation. Is how we will find the stories of Rama and Krishna and people like that who are undergoing certain karmic phala, having this I have told you also. Even though he is an incarnation, having acquired the Sharira, certain discipline of the Sharira procurement has to be followed by him. So in that there is dukkha and kashta. The one who is owning Sharira, dukkha and kashta, he has to undergo that. Like the spider has created his own web, but after creating the web, spider can travel only on the web. He cannot travel without a web. Same way, after Ishvara has created an incarnation of XYZ, he has to move only through that, and while moving that, there is his own problems are there, his own restrictions are there, his own experiences are there, is what he is telling. To sum up, when Brahman reflects through Maya, the reflected consciousness is called Ishvara. That's what I said, reflection of through the Maya. And it controls the universe. Reflected through Avidya, the consciousness is the individual soul. Reflected through Avidya is individual soul. Ajnani gets a soul. Ajnani, all that means all are Ajnanis. Why? Because of the karma phala, one is entangled in the karma and karma phala. Action and reaction. He is never out of the cycle of action and reaction. Is why he is entangled in order to remove one reaction, he acts and creates another reaction. And he creates another reaction. This repetition of action and reaction continued in creating karma and karma phala is the reason why the Jivatma is entangled in this. That's why it is told that the Prakriti reflected, the Brahman or the Prakriti reflected through Avidya, the consciousness reflected through Avidya is the Jivatma or the soul, what we call. No matter what name, Brahman is one, just as milk is milk, whether produced by different countries the brand name, etc., etc., etc. Tattvamasi. Because of ignorance, the common man could not understand what God pronounced. The truth shall make you free. Things like that. Okay. Next topic is Bhagatyaga Lakshana. The Bhagatyaga Lakshana method of the Jnana Yoga explains the proclamation of Tattvamasi in Vedanta. Tat represents unqualified Brahman, as I have already told you. Unqualified Brahman. Tvam, the individual soul. Asi represents the union. Meditation on these words is a process of dehypnotization of yourself. Meditation on this, Tat, Tvam, Asi. This meditation we will be doing, of course. Well, one has to be ready for this also. Tat is the unqualified Brahman. Tvam is the individual soul. And Asi is that union in the universe. Asi representing the union between Tat and Tvam. Asi is representing the union of Tat and Tvam. Tat is unqualified Brahman. Tvam is the individual soul. So that ignorant avidya, who is individual soul? That which has been created by through the projection of avidya. That avidya merging into Tat, which is the unqualified Brahman, is called the true Brahman. You understand? That's called Tattvamasi. So we have to meditate on this. To explain in detail the meaning of the word or phrase can be approached in three ways. His opinion is, it can be approached in three ways. One is Vachyartham, through the word meaning. Primary meaning conveyed directly by the word is Vachyartha. Lakshyartha implied in the meaning, Lakshana, through the Lakshana. Vyanjanartha, suggested meaning hinted by the words of association, Vyanjanartha. Everything in the Vedanta and also in the Veda, they are understood in three. Vachyartham, Lakshanartham, Lakshana and the Vyanjanartham. They are all only meaning the paths to identify it in whichever way you understand it. Like God, somebody said, Ishvara, who is all prevalent, is the Vachyartham, God. Lakshanartham, God is invisible. Lakshanartham. Vyanjanartham is that God itself, the pronunciation of the God itself is Vyanjanam. So this is how each and everything is identified. That's a vritti. This is taught when we are learning about the chanting as well as about the classification and identification when meditation, when the doubt arises. So these are the three methods to clarify the doubts and reach the point of it. There's a method of learning of this. Like we said about Vyakari and the three sounds that is produced from inner and the middle and the external. Like that, this Vachyartha, Lakshanartha and the Vyanjanartha has to be understood in each and every action. Meaning means the thought that is forming has to be identified. This is a particular chapter which we have to take it in a little more advanced knowledge, I think. Then only it will be clarified. Because the thought has to be analyzed into three statuses. Vachyartha, Lakshanartha. What is the Lakshana? Why the thought has come? Through which Lakshana? How did I understand that is bad? How did I understand that is good? One is that good is called Vachyartham, according to me. How the good has been derived is called Lakshanam. Vyanjanam is that the combination of my thought and interpretation is Vyanjanam. Now this has to be learned in a absolute, very elaborate chapter it is. One has to have a lot of patience to it. One will get bored because it is like learning grammar. One has to have the taste to it. So when you have taste of that Pani Puri, then we will have learned this also. Lakshanartham, Vyanjanartham, and the taste. So create the taste first. Okay. I know you won't believe what I am saying. Never mind. Tattvamasi can be understood only in the light of this kind of reasoning, that thou art does not refer to direct meaning of the body. It asserts that each individual soul is in reality the supreme absolute. Such impermanent qualities as body, color, sex and religion are eliminated. Although we may now be able to, in the grab of human beings, before being incarnated here on earth, each existed in the Brahmic state. Tat, that refers to pure consciousness or the Brahman. Tvam, thou, refers to the reflected consciousness in ignorance is thou. That's Jivatma or individual soul. Asi, art, proclaims their unity. That avidya, ajnani, Brahma, ajnani, Jivatma joining with the absolute unqualified consciousness is the process called Tattvam Asi, which alone exists for all the projections of the Brahman. Adi Shankaracharya, when he met, I repeated this story not for that purpose, I am just telling about the Tattvam Asi. Adi Shankaracharya, when met Chandala in the Banaras, Kashi, in that way, pathway, after coming from the bathing in the river with his disciples, he who is Chandala standing on the way, obstructing his path. Disciples have fought with him, shouted at him, "Hey Chandala, how dare you? Acharya is coming, don't you see? He is going to pray, Lord." You know the story, I have told a number of times, I think. Chandala asked, who is obstructing whose path? Really, after listening to that, Acharya understood, and then no, he is Bhagavan Shiva. What is the meaning of it? What is this conversation is what I would like to highlight. Who is obstructing whose path? I am not obstructing your path. You want to go? Please go. I am only standing here. You are walking. I am standing here. The absolute consciousness, which is inherent and which is there, is existing, and the Jivatma, avidya, Acharya, sorry for saying that, Acharya's example of avidya is not avidya, of course, just comparing that. Avidya is talking to the highest consciousness, move away. I want to go, avidya is saying I want to pass. The highest consciousness, who is everywhere, including in avidya, says, how is it that I am obstructing your way? You got it? Avidya also has come from the consciousness only. So the highest consciousness is telling the avidya, How is it that I am obstructing your way? Because I am there inherent in you also, in avidya also. So he says that there is way. You walk through. Where is he asking to walk through? Towards the consciousness you walk through. This sentence, when he heard that, when I am not obstructed, Acharya understood, oh my God, what did I do? Where is the mistake? Prostrated in front. Then he came into the highest consciousness, the avidya merged into the higher consciousness. Is what passing through that way. Is what it is now. You understand the situation? It's not a verbal discussion or Acharya, it has happened or things like that. It's identification of the avidya merging into layam. Avidya layam into the highest consciousness of Brahman. So once realization has come, Acharya prostrated, the moment prostrated, Bhagavan changed the shape and form of the Chandala into the Rupa of Bhagavan himself. The moment avidya, through avidya, what are so many things you have to learn from this? When you are standing in avidya, there's another next one, what to learn. When you are in avidya as a jivatma, looking at the Brahman will look like Chandala. As Acharya looking at Chandala. The moment you have realized the consciousness, the same Chandala has transformed into Bhagavan Shiva. This is what you have to understand the other way. Neither it was Chandala nor Shiva, it is absolute consciousness. You, with your avidya, you saw the same shape as Chandala, now you see the shape as Shiva. Now after Layam, what happened? Neither of them remains, it's all gone, vanished. It's all Layam. It's what attainment of tapasya, no? Path of tapasya. The avidya leads to individual soul. Now, I think it's good enough. With this, let us, with sweet memories like South Indian movies has to end with all harmony and peace. All sorts of things will happen. Somebody will die and Bhagavan will come bless him, and that man has to get up and sit together with the family. Otherwise the theatre will be burnt in South India. It has to end like that only. No commotions and cooling after. Even if he dies, it has to come. Bhagavan has to come, and he has come somehow or other. He has to be brought alive. And then, same way, let us stop here seeing Shankaracharya and the Bhagavan Shiva. Happily ever after happened. The layam took place, and then further we will talk about that.